Hi, I'm Jessica here at Nautilus Mission Control at the Inner Space Center in Rhode Island. And we're here today with Steve Carey, who is a doctor on call for the Nautilus. So welcome, Steve. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
And I just wanted to start off, you're a doctor on call for this leg in Santorini, Greece. What exactly does that mean?
Well, the Doctor on Call program is a way in which we can engage scientists who are not actually on the ship, but who can communicate with what's going on at sea. So it's a way of participating in the cruise virtually without actually being at sea. And it opens up all sorts of possibilities for having a wide variety of experts that you normally wouldn't have aboard the ship.
So you can sit here in the Inner Space Center and almost pretend like you're on the ship.
Exactly. You get the same virtual sense of being out at sea. You don't have to worry about getting seasick, and you get better food here. But it's a good experience to be able to participate in the cruise.
So here we're in Colombo. We're diving on hydrothermal vents.
Right.
What do we hope to find?
Well, last year we were at Colombo, and we found some very interesting things at this volcano. There were a lot of hydrothermal vents down in the bottom of the crater, and those hydrothermal vents were giving off carbon dioxide. And one of the things we're interested in is that when you bubble CO2 through water, it turns it acidic. And so one of the things we're doing this year is to go back and actually sample the water to see if the water is actually acid. And there are implications for that. If the water starts to become acidic, then the organisms that are living on the seafloor might be affected. And it's kind of neat because Colombo is like a little natural experiment in ocean acidification. So people are concerned with the global oceans becoming more acid from carbon dioxide from the atmosphere dissolving in the ocean. But here we have like a little natural experiment that we can go and we can examine in detail where carbon dioxide is coming into the seawater, maybe turning it acid, and we can look at the effects on the biological organisms.
And we haven't found many megafauna and things like that in this area in the past? Or?
No, that's one of the interesting things about the Colombo events, is that once you descend down into the crater, when you're near the top, you see a lot of fish and other organisms, but once you get down to about 500 meters, basically it disappears. And this is not typical of other places where we have hydrothermal vents. You usually get very robust biological communities, tube worms, crabs, all sorts of things, and you don't see those at Colombo.
How active is this volcano? Should we be worried about it erupting anytime soon? Or?
Well, Colombo erupted in 1650 AD. That was the last eruption. And it was a fairly significant eruption. It led to some fatalities on the island of Santorini. There hasn't been any activity since then, but the fact that we see hydrothermal vents inside the crater indicates that there's a heat source probably very near the surface. So that tells us, and in combination with seismic activity, there's a lot of earthquakes beneath Colombo, more so, in fact, than beneath Santorini. And so that gives us some concern that there's still magma which is residing beneath Colombo. So there's always a possibility that it could become reactivated.
And our work on the Nautilus might help give people warning that an eruption might happen? Or?
Well, yeah, one of the interesting things will be the data set that we're collecting on Nautilus is we had observations from last year of the hydrothermal vents, such as temperature and fluid discharge, and we're going to be there again. We're currently there right now. So it'll be interesting to see whether there are any changes from last year to this year, and that could be some indications of whether activity is going to start again.
I guess the next time we'll be talking will be when you're on the ship.
I'll be on the ship, yeah.
And thank you so much for joining us today.
You're welcome.
Again, I'm Jessica here at Nautilus Mission Control. Stay tuned at nautiluslive.org, and now back to the action on the ship.